let's look at the third segment, which is fraud implications and its effects. I mean, fraud, basically, we all know that is an intentional act to deceive. Intentional act, that intentional is a key word. Intentional act to deceive or to secure an unfair advantage over another person, or to deprive a victim or the organization of a legal rights. That's involve intellectual property. It could involve fraud has a major impact on shareholders' fund. I've had a couple of experience where members of my team back in those days when I was heading the branch at where was this branch? I can't recollect whether it was Broad Street or Butimeta. Where someone was just pilfering, and then it turned out that he was doing teaming and lading. You know, teaming and lading is you use today's money to block yesterday's owe that you have created. Somebody paid you money, you chopped that money, and then today's collection, you just use it to block that person. Tomorrow's collection, you use it to block today's one, and then it will just keep growing. The hole will keep expanding until you don't have enough to fill it again. And then the person will be exposed. So fraud comes in different dimensions. And usually it starts with just a penny. Oh, it's just 100 naira today. It could even just 1,000 naira. And then when the person is not discovered, and there is the triangle for fraud is there. Does anyone know anything about triangle for fraud? Fraud triangle. Fraud triangle.
Anyone else?
Anyone?
Anyone else?
Shed more light on that, sir.
Okay. It means we don't know it more, sir.
Yes, I don't know it.
Basically speaks about the things that allow fraud to happen. So there's the motivation side, which is someone who is not being well paid. For instance, whose salary is not enough, is not being well paid, already have the rationalization. You know, he feels that, oh, after all, they are not paying me well. They are all the guys, they are chopping money, that they want to enjoy it. So this is my own opportunity to, how much am I even stealing anyway? 1,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 20,000 naira, compared to what the salary of the MD is, or what the salary of the branch manager is. So that there's that motivation there. There is no, maybe the compensation system is poor. That's one part of the triangle. The other part of the triangle is the opportunity is there. The opportunity, that opportunity can arise out of poor control. Nobody is doing call up to check. Nobody is doing call up to check. Okay, so it's a video. Which one is a video? Okay,
it's a video.
So nobody is doing call up to check what the collections officers are doing, what the savings officers are doing, to be sure that, oh, everything they collect was posted by the teller. He has spoken about a lot of things that that addresses a lot of things that address both managing risk and then also even fraud. A lot of things looking at people's lifestyle, your loan officer's lifestyle can also indicate the cases of fraud and all the rest. What the experience I shared with you about giving loan to somebody, that 5 million naira loan, it got to a point before that loan started having issue that the man offered me 40,000 naira. Let me share this experience. I was a branch manager. I went to check that site to see the level of work. And then as I was leaving the place, he just dropped the envelope in my car. My other passengers with her. I said, "Okay, what was this?" I said, "No." I said no. I declined that no. He insisted, and when he was speaking, I was becoming rude. I said, "Okay, no problem." You know, when I took that envelope, I went straight. I drove straight. Henry, I don't know if you recall this matter. I can't mention the man's name, but I drove straight to the head office and I gave the MD. I just went to the MD's office. This is what this man did. The MD just said, "Okay, no problem. Just take it to your branch. You and your branch people, you can share it." And I took the money to the branch. Do you know the next installment? That was when the man started proving difficult. Started giving me story, thinking that I pocketed that money alone and I won't be able to sue anything. So In fact, the way I attacked him, he was shocked that how can this guy be this way? I said, you think because you gave me money? I took the money to head office and I declared it. Don't think you can be blackmailing me. So we have to be, this work requires a lot. One other thing I want to mention that Mr. Odutola alluded to is something that you won't find it in any textbook anyway, and you will not likely find it in any slide, but it's a sixth sense. There's something called the sixth sense, and that sixth sense is that thing at the back of your mind that is telling that something is not right yet. Something is just not right. And you develop that sixth sense with experience. With time, it becomes part and parcel of you that you just notice that. I not remember this also. Is one of our top SME beneficiaries. He's done first loan, he's done second loan, and then this third loan, he was requesting for 2 million. And I took the loan, I packaged the loan at branch level, took it to head office for approval. And then my MD was just dragging and everything. And it was a Friday, and the man insisted I needed it on that Friday. And that money would be useless to him if he doesn't get it on Friday. You know how customers can be now. And I was putting pressure on my BDM. And the BDM said, Oni, I have signed this loan. You are just waiting for MD approval. MD has not approved for one reason or the other. And so that's how that loan was not approved on Friday anyway. I then just managed to talk to the man, please apologize and everything. And then we waited till Monday. First thing on Monday, I got the loan approved. And then I called the man, picked the man's number, called the number, and a woman picked the number. I said, can I speak with Mr. Richard? And he said, sorry, he passed on Saturday.
Wow.
The customer died on Saturday on long tennis courts.
Wow.
He was 43-year-old at that time. He wasn't an elderly person. He was just, no, I think he was 41. He collapsed on the court, he died. And that's how I was saved from disbursing 2 million naira that would have just been gone. How do you go and ask the customer wife that we just disbursed yesterday? Please, because somebody who just died. But something just held the MD, and she just said, just hold on, let me sleep over this. And that was what saved. So that sixth sense, you must begin to cultivate it. When you just have this feeling that something is not right, dig further, investigate further. Maybe just even hold on a bit. Although sometimes delay can also lead to delinquency, because it doesn't mean the purpose of the loan, it can lead to delinquency. But sometimes when your sixth sense is telling you that something is wrong, just pause, hold on a bit. In a few minutes or in a few hours, that thing can be exposed. So let's just quickly go through the fraud. A lot of things that we said about fraud, but this video, I believe we can see my slide. It loses a minimum of 5% of its revenue to fraud. 5%, a minimum of 5% of its revenue to fraud, staff fraud, theft, and all the rest. And so we have to be careful not to expose at branch level. You just have to be on the alert. So you have to watch the lifestyle of your field officer. When you see someone who 50,000 begin to lead the lifestyle of someone who is earning 500,000, you have to investigate. Personally, when I was at branch level, when I was overseeing a branch, there were instances that I've asked internal auditor or the resident internal control officer to go and investigate staff, because I was watching their lifestyle and everything. So don't also be reluctant to do that. If you suspect that something is not right, do spot check on your customers, visit them yourself, and just look at their passbook or their collection booklet to be seen, to just say, do also pay attention to callover. Once in a while, ask for the callover report to begin to check also on your operations people. It can be the marketing people can be doing a lot of work on the field, and then the operations people is just taking all the money. They're not posting everything. So you have to be on the alert. And then how does it grow? It usually starts with a loophole. Remember, I said I was on the fraud triangle before the network started misbehaving. The three things on the fraud triangle is motivation, rationalization, and opportunity. When those three things are in place, a fraud will always happen. Motivation is, I need the money. I need to solve this problem. I'm having a challenge at home, and this is money here. That's motivation. Rationalization is, I'm not being paid well anyway. How much are they paying me? And they are driving fancy cars. The MPs, he's always traveling abroad and everything. So he's already rationalizing that if he steals also, it doesn't matter. And then the opportunity is loose controls. Nobody is checking. There's no call over being done. You can go home with cash and all the rest. So opportunity, when these three things are in place, you would likely have fraud. So to prevent fraud, ensure that the motivation is not there for people to steal, ensure that they don't have rationalization. You pay them well, you take care of your staff well. Also ensure that the opportunities are not there by creating strong controls. It usually starts with just a loophole. It builds up after some time due to undiscovered lapses. This is opportunity. And then the hunger for more thefts, you go to. For more thefts tempts you to go deeper. That's rational. You are just saying, but you are motivated to steal more because nobody discovered you. Then most time we also want to not to be seen. We don't want to be seen to be the bad person, the person who steals, who raised the alarm. We want to be seen as a nice guy. The problem with that is that eventually you become a victim of that fraud. Fraud can bring a microfinance bank down. The size of the fraud, imagine if someone has been defrauded the bank and is defrauding into millions, and the it's a unit microfinance bank, it can sink that microfinance bank. So if you don't talk today, you end up becoming a victim of that microfinance bank. So you must take that bold step, regardless of who is involved. Sometimes it could even be our friends that we find involved. We say, we don't want to be the ones to take his source of livelihood. If you do not spill out, it will take your source of livelihood at the end of the day. So you have to make the right decision by reporting fraud and unethical cases. The main reasons for reporting are usually around: one, it can affect the bottom line of the organization. I'm looking for the slide that speaks to that. Do I need to report on ethical behavior? Who do I report on ethical behavior? So what kind of reports do I report to? It might lead to retrenchment or dismissal of staff and other staff. I remember a case. So this happened my wife was working in a particular microfinance bank there, and in their branch, one guy, the teller, and the one collection officer, they have been colluding. The collection officer will bring in money on a daily basis. The teller will post part of it. The other part they will keep. So they have two sets of deposit slip for every customer. If the customer pays 100,000 naira, for instance, they will use a deposit slip for 50,000 naira. The other 50,000 naira, the two of them will share. They will post that 50,000 naira and keep the other record, the normal deposits, so that I don't know why they were just keeping it in case, maybe for them to be able to know the actual amount they have taken so far in case they are discovered. And they were doing this day in, day out for months until they were caught one day. By the time they were caught, a lot of money has been taken and they sacked the entire branch and suspended. My wife was suspended, that teller was suspended, and the other guys were sacked to go. At the end of the day, after investigation was completed, after 1 month or so, it was only my wife that was recalled back, and I think one other person that was recalled back in that branch. The BM went for that case. They just said the BM wasn't supervising enough. So it can lead to retrenchment or dismissal of several other staff. It will also lead to reduction in salary and bonuses because it will affect the bottom line. It can damage the reputation of the organization, damage the reputation of yourself also. It might also lead to reduction in profit. These are the reasons why you need to report fraudulent cases and unethical behaviors. Then people you can report to top management. Usually in microfinance bank or in some, there's always a whistleblowing box where you can even anonymously just tip off the organization, top management, that something like this is happening. If you are not comfortable, you can also report to internal control or audit. You can also report to dedicated line. These are the whistleblower platform, or your direct supervisor. But when it is your direct supervisor that's even involved, what do you then do? You have to report to top management in such a case. And then the kind of activities that you can report when someone is manipulating loans, booking loans, fictitious loans, customers are not existing, they are booking. So that's why as BMs, as leaders, once in a while, Mr. Oditola says something that you cannot be an armchair manager. You must go out once in a while, spot check on your own, so that people don't just bring files to you on existing businesses and they create the loans and they are the ones that will go and get the loans at the end of the day. Fraudulent loan application also can lead to fraud. the customer can collude with the field officer and apply for the loan, and the two of them will share it, and then you don't get loan repayment. That's when you just discover that, so this loan never happened in the first place. Connivance with co-workers and customers, conflict of interest when you have a staff who has interest, like the case study we saw, or a senior management member who has interest in the loan, and then the loan should not be given, but because of conflict of interest, the loan was. Make sure you report such case. Flouting company policies, credit control policies, you must follow policy. If somebody is flouting it regularly, be careful. That person has tendency to commit fraud. So raise such issue. Highlight it before it becomes a major issue. So you can read up on other issues. I'm just trying to be fast so that we can wrap up as quickly as possible. Illegally manipulated loans, creating fictitious loans with the help of internal or external influence, thereby causing loss to the organization. Fraudulent loan, forging documents, overstating pledge documents, or even forging the guarantor's signature. Guarantor didn't even know anything about it at all. And then the customer will bring the loan application to you without the guarantor's consent. It is when the customer then default that you are calling the guarantor will say, I didn't guarantee any loan. Which person, which loan? And the idea of the guarantor is everything is there, but the signature was forged. So you need to also cross-check with guarantors before you disburse any loan. Connivance with co-workers, conflict of interest, I already mentioned that, flouting company policy. So you need to be careful with all of this. Fraud can involve internal staff, it can involve external, and it can also involve collusion of both internal and external. So forms of fraud include fictitious loan, proxy loan, where someone will use someone else to apply. Husband can use wife to apply, or staff can use a customer to apply for loan. And I have seen a case where staff use several customers, like 5 customers to apply for loan. And it was one using all those money, and eventually all the loans went back because he couldn't repay the loan.
I had that experience. I had that experience.
Okay, you can share it quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was actually the branch manager of a microfinance bank. That was the last place I worked before the present place, and I was on leave because I had an accident. I had to call them. I had to call my area manager then that this guy is giving out loans within 2 months are already going into arrears. Something's wrong. They should stop this guy from giving out loan. So after staying 4 months, I told him, I came back to the branch and I told him we need to go back to all your customers. I was still using 2 clutches. We went to the first customer's place and the woman was calm, but was telling me, don't worry, I'll come to the bank tomorrow. We went to 3 places, but he was actually surprised that I could still go out with my clutches. I told him on Friday we'll be going back to all your customers' place. On Friday, he ran away. He dropped his ID card. From there, we started calling customers. We got to know that he used 26 customers to collect loan. 26. Most of them collected and gave it to him.
26.
26. 26. Because of that, I was told I was going to be sent to head office with a salary reduction and more of a demotion, which I declined. That was the reason why I left. But to God be the glory is well.
Sir?
It's
even smaller. This is even smaller.
You said what?
Oh, 26 is even smaller.
26 is small. Let's have your story. If it's
okay.
If 26 is small, let's have your story.
Small rampant in MF. Okay, sir. In MFI, it's even much more rampant. You see cases where, it's group loan in MFI.
Yeah.
A union of 30 members.
Yes,
and you are counting about 15 unions that officers disbursed to at least 12 persons in that union. I think the last case study I investigated was going to about 15 million by the branch manager.
15 million? With how many customers involved?
About 75.
Oh, sorry, don't be annoyed. My own is small, really. Don't be annoyed for sharing my own. My own is small. You can continue, sir.
Wow. So we can see, I mean, thank God for all these experiences. I mean, I didn't want to mention names and all the rest. I've had similar experience. So one branch in Ajadem, the branch manager, the way, in fact, it wasn't the branch manager, it was the HBO. She was just not knowing that she has been raking a lot of money. Anyway, all of these are different forms of fraud, presenting false documents to the bank. Investigate every document they bring to you, invoices and all the rest. C of O, governor consent, check them out. Ask your legal department to check them out. Some of them are fake. Presenting fake or dot check, make sure you check, even check when you receive checks. Some checks can't even go through clearing. So look out for all those things. Manipulating assessment figures. When you see a staff beginning to manipulate assessment figures so that a loan will be granted, be careful with that staff. He's already doing something wrong. Running multiple loans, staging fake shop, ensure you ask for receipts, evidence that the person is the owner, do neighbor reference. All of these are possible ways that people can commit fraud. And when you say they are your friend, eventually, like I said, it will hurt you. So it's better to just draw the line, maintain professional relationship. When a friend of yours is going wrong, speak it out or spill it out before it comes back to haunt you. If you don't spill it out, they might ask all of you in that branch to leave. That it's all of you that have been involved in it. So report the act, and you can also stay anonymous in reporting the act. You don't have to be known. That it doesn't have to be known to everybody that you were the one that reported. And these are some of the processes you can follow to report. You can make contact through any approved means, any channels that's been approved, and then make sure you have your facts. Supply adequate information that will help the investigation unit arrive at a logical conclusion. Then if you know that it's a major case, like it's millions of naira, you know that somebody who has been stealing millions of naira will not want to be exposed. And if he's exposed, he may want to come back and get back at you. So you may want to stay anonymous as much as possible. Protect yourself by not divulging information about what have occurred and what you have reported to a third party until the investigation is completed. Don't go and be saying that's explosive. Just keep quiet, protect yourself. Then unethical behaviors can affect you as a person. It can also affect the organization. I already mentioned that. It can affect the brand. It can affect the reputation of the bank, and it can even affect your career. There are certain positions that you get to, you're appointed, CBN will have to do background check on you. If you have history of termination of appointment because of fraud and all the rest, you may not be able to get such senior roles in financial institutions. Effect on the company, cost of investigation can reduce revenue. This can also cause the organization considerable number of funds that could have been used to create more loans. The company also faces the issue of trusts, erosion of trust of the organization. This can also happen. So loss of benefits, loss of your job, then there's also the chances that the person can face prosecution, criminal prosecution, and be thrown to jail at the end of the day. May that not be our story. I just pray. So just before we round up, before you report fraud cases, make sure you have adequate proof to back your claim, obtain enough information relevant to the act, decide if you want to stay anonymous or not, stick to your facts and don't be compromised. Don't wait to have a second thought. So second thought, that's supposed to be second thought, T-H-O-U-T, sorry about that. Report it as soon as it happens. Describe a location or process in which it occurs. Keep track of the dates of events for reference and have your dates, have the dates, have everything in record so that you can always reference it. Identify the loopholes in which the act is committed. Thank you. God bless you. We can take questions, comments now. Before network yanks me off again.